Welcome, everybody, to Edge of the Rabbit Hole. We have a fantastic show coming up for you tonight. The Ghost Finders are in the house. Coming up next. Welcome back, everybody, to Edge of the Rabbit Hole. I'm author and ghost historian Mike Ricksecker. With me, as always, is my co-hostess, Vanessa Hogle. We have a fantastic show coming up for you tonight. We have the Ghost Finders with us. We have Rob Thompson, Dan Klaes, and Megan Deputy. We're going to get into their show that they are doing. I guess you guys are on season 9. Am I correct on that?
Right now, yes.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about you guys. Oh, and for the viewers, I know this setup is a little bit different. It's like Hollywood Squares here, but there's so many of us. This is what we had to do. So welcome, everybody.
Thanks for having us.
Welcome.
Great to be here, Mike.
Let Rob talk about this. This is his baby. I'm just coming in. Megan's been at it since season 6. So this is something that Rob started.
7. Yeah.
All right, very cool. Yeah, go for it, Rob.
Actually, she just came in on season 7, and so a bit about us background. Started doing this. Thanks for having us on the show, by the way. Started doing this in 2010. Really, just intentions of video documenting. Like most people, my pursuits, investigations. I've been investigating the paranormal for about 25 years. And I'm from the UK. I don't have some virus. I'm actually from the UK. That's why I sound this way.
So the accent is real.
So it is. And then pip pip cheerio, said no Brit ever. It's I've lived here for 20 odd years, and it was a way for me to combine two of my passions, which was filmmaking, amateur filmmaking, and investigating the paranormal. The two biggest, two of the 4 biggest passions of my life. It sort of bloomed from there. A local station said, well, can we come and have a look at that? And I showed them a tape, and they were like, oh, this would be great. Can we do this? And I was sure. And it sort of went from there. I never at all expected us to be, not that I was pessimistic, but I never expected us to be, busy as we are now for filming our 10th anniversary season and with Nick Groff. So, it's been a fantastic journey with some wonderful people. And I'm very fortunate that I have this great team who just work their asses off and do this fantastic work. To make the show that you see before you. So as far as the last year or so, we've progressed a lot. We've been attending Comic Cons and Paracon, and we've done a lot of stuff with. We've started working with Nick on season 10. He's actually going to be producing season 10, 6 of the episodes. It's some big surprises coming up, and a lot of firsts and a few bucket list locations for myself. So I'm really excited. We're going to be working in doing some shoots all over the place. I'll let Dan tell you a little bit more about that because he's more on that part. But Megan came along around season 7 because we wanted to do it differently. We wanted to do something that was original and fresh. We wanted to really, I guess, maximize the potential of the results we were getting. We noticed that, when we were applying, it's the honey sweeter than vinegar type thing scenario. So we decided to, bring in a witch, and we interviewed, I think there was 37 initially applied. That we were down to a short list of 20 from there, and then 10 forever, and then it went from 10 to 1 because Megan showed up, and I was just like, oh wow, and I mean we just clicked, boom, nice. Like that. It's like ISDN, and And I think Megan is our secret weapon. You know, she really is our nuclear warhead, our spiritual nuclear warhead. Because what one of the things you've got to understand as well, and you would understand a lot. You know, paranormal investigators will understand, but maybe the newbie to the paranormal field wouldn't. Is that a lot of these places that we're visiting, and we're all, you know, pretty much visiting similar places. You know, wherever it happened to be Penhurst or Eastern State Penitentiary, for example. You got to understand a lot of people, thousands and thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, or even millions of people through these places. Certainly, this the case
Right.
with Eastern State Penitentiary. And you've got to look at it from the ghost perspective. You know, they're like, oh God, here we go again. No, you know, do you want to stick around for this one? No, look
Yeah,
at
getting
these.
questioned by a
So
million different strangers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and this one on the end is pretending to fart. It's a response. So let's stop. You know, we'll go out. We'll come back when they've gone about 3. You know, just for example, I'm not doing the Casper thing, but I mean, we decided that it was going to be a good idea for us to announce our presence, to announce our intentions, and that they were good intentions, and sort of like powerhouse that throughout the building. So as soon as we arrive, Megan, okay, I'll let her explain from there, you know, where she that's where she begins.
That's where she steps into the process.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
Megan, what is your process?
Well, it's all about like greeting a new friend for the first time is how I would say. And
so you're an intuitive, right?
Yes, but I use traditional witchcraft and eclectic practices from all around the world and different times to communicate with these spirits. So we're one of those shows that use these old ways of spirit communication with these new technologies. So yeah, I would say I'm like the messenger. And I can kind of like, I'll feel a place, feel who's there, kind of pick up on some things, but using witchcraft, be able to hand them that bouquet, tell them, hello, new friends, we're here for you. Is there anything you want? It's almost like different traditions like Day of the Dead. This is us honoring you and your story and letting you know that we know you're still here. And then I'll bring in and I'll pass that on and I'll say, hey, this is my whole team and our intent. And Rob's really good at communicating with them and feeling them and being a medium. So I think we're like the perfect team. Dan is also wonderful too. We're so perfectly balanced because everybody's heart is in the right place. And that's like, for me, that's what it's all about. When I was brought in for my first episode, after that night, we spoke with a bunch of different spirits in a cemetery there. And I could feel that they really cared about these beings and the dead, these spirits and all of this vast. And I was like, okay, that's good for me. I don't like any antagonization. I don't like any of that. And that was like my stipulation for coming in. And like Rob said, I think our results are so amazing with that. And then bringing somebody like Nick Groff in as well, just like what a wonderful heart, energy, and intent. It's just, we've covered all of our bases in the right place, like in my opinion. And I love our family. Like that's how we look at it. We're here to help them and learn. Like who wouldn't want to know more about what's across the veil?
Right.
And talk to those. So yeah.
Exactly. And Dan, our old friend, we've had you on here before. I've known you quite a few years now. So you're newer to the team. So how did you get involved in this project?
Well, I mean, Rob, as the executive producer, had gotten in contact with me to explore and possibly film at the Hinsdale House. Very professional, very. That was the first thing that stood out to me about Rob and Heather. is that how professional they were going about the booking, the history, the knowledge, things like that of the location. He didn't want to know everything, but he wanted to know some of the stories of what had led up to what is supposedly one of the biggest hauntings in the country, you know. And we booked them a date there. He had asked if I'd come out to interview for the show, and I was at a con in Erie, Pennsylvania, and I remember driving in from Erie to get to their shoot. I had left the con, packed up, got in my car, and I was speeding, and I got pulled over by a police officer, and I had a Hinsdale sticker on my car, and they actually let me go. And they started talking about the Hinsdale house, but I got there, and it was just easy flow, and I really liked what they were doing. As far as the production value, how professional they were, how seriously they took everything, and sometimes that's lacking when you're dealing with a lot of other people. You know, I've investigated with a lot of other teams and a lot of other folks around the country, and I kind of like being alone sometimes too. Right. But when I met Heather and Rob, I felt like, I don't know, I was always drawn to light workers. I was always drawn to people like that, just because it always interested me to see what they were seeing, and me being able to get some type of evidence that kind of proved them correct, or if I could prove them wrong, you know, like, hey, you're full of crap, you know. Right. This is what I got. This is the history. But with these two, it was like boom, boom, boom. Everything just clicked, and I like Megan said, it felt like family. And Rob, you know, me and Rob started talking, and I had assisted them because I really liked the way that they produced the show. And I said, well, you need to get some more locations in Buffalo. So I started hooking him up with other locations in Buffalo that could highlight our region, you know, because I'm very big on that. And got him in at Wildwood Sanitarium. They filmed there, Greystone Manor. And then also, what was the other location?
Palmyra?
No. It was, what was the other house that was similar to Hinsdale that Amy was at? You weren't at the shoot, Megan.
Oh, Bergen.
Oh, Bergen House. Yeah, Bergen House, which is closer to Rochester.
Yeah.
And I don't know. He invited me on a couple more, and then he asked me to join the team. You know, and I thought about it long and hard, and I think I was ready. I felt like I was ready to do it, and we're stepping everything up, putting our A game plan on, and we're going to try to produce something amazing for this 10th season. Because Rob, there were talks about this is it, season 9, that's it, maybe we're done. And me and Heather were like, no, you're not. We're not done yet. We're gonna make a kick-ass. We're all gonna bring all of our A games. We're gonna bring everything that we can to the table, and we're just gonna, if we're gonna go out, we're gonna go out with a bang. Season 10.
Yeah, they're like, don't worry, we'll get some duct tape, Rob. We'll stick you together for another season. Megan's like, I can trowel another 2 inches of makeup on you. Don't worry, we'll like wind you up and kick you out. It'll be like, it'll be like season 10 at Bernie's ghost hunting. But
that's a long time. You know, there's a lot of seasons, a lot of traveling. So how do you keep the drive going?
Well, I can't speak for Rob or Heather, but for me, you know, this is what happened with when I was doing Behind the Shadows, you know, another series that I produced. It gets dry after a while, and you want to explore, and you want to be with new people. And this is like, for me, Rob and Heather, this is a new thing for us. So it's kind of like we're starting off fresh, kind of with this new season, new ideas, new producer, new influences, and the ideas that we're coming up with for season 10, I think, is making it exciting for all of us. We're all excited.
I have a question for Megan.
Yeah.
It's a rarity that I get somebody on here that actually follows a similar path. I'm your card carrying witch right here. I'm 48 years old, and I've been doing it my entire life. So I hats off to you. I'm very intrigued by something that you said just a bit ago about when you go into a location, what your approach is, and how you try to draw the spirits to you and to let them know why you're there. And I'm very fascinated by that. I'm very similar in that fashion. My question is, in doing that, with you being a practicing witch like myself, are you also well versed in other religions? Because quite often we're not coming into contact with somebody like us when we're doing this. So how do you handle those situations? Because you have to handle it with respect.
Yes, exactly. And that's why I like label myself too, if you have to get super technical with it, eclectic traditional witchcraft. And I've actually studied many theologies. I've read countless things. I can talk about the Geneva Bible and all of these things. Like if you want to talk Christian texts and then everything like yes, you need to come in with respect and talk and understand who is there. And that's why I say too, I have to go to that place first. And you won't see me like pick out rituals and say, oh, this is what's going to happen. For Hinsdale, for instance, the moment my foot hit the earth there, I felt all of these spirits as well as deities and these ancients in a way that reside there. And I knew that there was like a lot of native influence too. And so, yes, I think that is very important to be well-versed. And I love talking theologies and mythologies and history. We need to understand that and keep that alive and hold a place in our hearts. So yes, we actually respect all religions and viewpoints. You'll hear a number of different prayers. And one thing in our show too, you will not hear us say, this is the only way, or this is what you should do. No. Like I am that person too, that pathways can and should be different. That is my belief. That doesn't necessarily say that I'm right in that, but we've had amazing results because of this. If you have to find that similar communication with who you're talking about. So yeah, you'll hear all things, and we don't like to put any negativity or condensation on any viewpoint. And there's been people who have come into the show looking one way, and through what they've seen in us and meeting us or just talking with us have been like, I've never thought of it that way before. And that's a beautiful perspective. And you know what? If I stepped outside my shoes and was in another person's feelings, I think you guys are right. Like that's a good way to come at it. So it's been super rewarding for the spirits we've come in contact with, as well as our viewers and fans. So yeah.
That was another thing that really drew me to Rob and Heather, was their compassion, because that was something that I always believe very strongly in, is having compassion for other people's beliefs, and also trying to understand what a spirit might be thinking or what they may have gone through at the time. And both Rob and Heather were very big on that. And you'll see in our show how compassionate we really are towards what we're dealing with when we're filming. It's amazing.
That's good.
Yeah, there's definitely a palpable difference between of course we're all using the same equipment. At the end of the day, it's also what you put into it, from not just from your equipment case, but from your heart and your soul and the spirit within you inside. I think really that a lot of people tend to forget that, because they get so wrapped up in the moment, which is understandable, because it's a very, it can be a tense atmosphere, paranormal investigation. And let's face it, we're all thrill seekers. That's why we're
well, hold it. No, let's
No,
I have a question based on what you just said. I have a very important question. I want to know this. You said based on the situation. I am of the belief, and I don't mean any disrespect to anybody watching this or you guys or anything else, but I know what I'm getting into when I go to a location. I already know. I still cannot understand why those that go into a location, when they get exactly what they asked for, they flip the fuck out and run like a little bitch. I cannot understand that. I had a cell phone. We had a cell phone thrown at us in Ireland, caught on tape. But because we didn't run and go, holy shit, it's a demon, they want us to leave, it was poo-pooed away. it's almost as if people don't believe it if it isn't over exaggerated.
Mhm.
And
You're
I wonder
doomed
about
if
that.
you do, and you're doomed if you don't. You know what I mean? It's almost like if you have two. I actually had someone come up to me at Silicon Valley Comic Con. I don't know if it was last year we were at, or the year before, but and he said, how much of it is real? I think that's a lot. That's a question that a lot of people think, because there are, and I won't mention shows, but there are such shows that are more.
I'll mention them.
Yeah, she won't hold back. Don't worry about that.
ratings driven, and it depends on where, and that's why we're here. But there are a lot of shows that they're on for a different reason. They have to get that 2.1 out of that 1.9 average. They have to get those ratings to stay on the air, and they've got millions of dollars worth of advertisers. So all I'll say is this: they're a little bit more frivolous with a little heavier on the artistic license than other shows. What I simply said was, I think we get a lot of stuff because, and it's all real, and we get it because we ask, we don't demand, we make contact and converse and offer ourselves and our spirit, our hearts, and not go wading in there making demands, to spirit like a circus animal, So that's
they're not guinea pigs. So you're building a rapport with them.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, well, and to kind of piggyback off that, and I haven't watched a lot of your show, so I don't know how often you go back to locations, but just as a paranormal investigator, do you find going back to locations repeatedly, you're able to continue to build that rapport and get better responses?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I in the case of Penhurst, we've been, what now, Megan, 3 times?
Twice for me, 3 times for you. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So once before, and so 3 times. I mean, absolutely. You need, every time, even though it's the same location, is a different experience. It's a different spirit, and occasionally you come across spirit that you have engaged with before, and little mind spin here. Often, as is with any mediumship, you will encounter the same people at a different location. So, right. We're not sort of, geographically confined or constrained. At least that's my personal view, as spirit. Wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. So yeah, I do. One of the things I in fact enjoy most is interacting with them in a humorous way as well. I want to see what kind of person they are. You don't become this humorless, characterless person when you die and become a robot, yes and no, and male and female. No, you're that great person still, and everything that made that great person still, just without a physical shell.
Right.
So I find sometimes the lines of questioning, can be a little two-dimensional. So, and again, Megan and Daniel, are kings like that. They're like magnets, paranormal magnets. So they make life very, very easy for me as a medium.
Good. We do have a question from the chat room from Tom McNicholas. He's wondering, what type of camera do you use for filming?
Well, no, we different cameras for different things. I mean, we're with a new show, with a new season that we're filming, we are shooting cinematically. So we were using reds, and shooting in natural light. But we are going to incorporate different night vision cameras and different infrared cameras into some of the shows that we're doing as well. But, we're trying some different things for the new season. So hopefully it'll look good on screen. I think it looks awesome actually already. So that's really cool.
Very cool.
As long as it looks real, that's all.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was what we want, and I'm just you get sick of just seeing everybody in black and white all the time walking through the dark. It's like I want to see the colors. I want to see what's really happening, and to be able to shoot in low light, it's different, and it looks really cool.
Oh,
To
come
be
on,
honest
it's not
with you,
paranormal if you
Daniel?
don't have that slightly green tint to it.
Oh, fuck that. No. To be honest with you guys, when we were filming in Ireland, the majority of it, 90% of it is during the day. Because guess what? In July, it gets dark at about 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it was daylight regardless. So no, I'm impressed by that. I like that because people need to see that it isn't just at a scary location that everybody in the world has heard of at night that stuff happens. It happens everywhere. Everywhere. And it needs to be acknowledged. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I think everywhere you realize, everywhere that where it's daytime, it's also nighttime. So it's not like, well, we have to wait till dark.
No,
Often,
no.
Meg, Dan, am I right? Like often
yeah.
we'll go in and we haven't even started setting up, and stuff starts to happen. They're like, okay, these guys are different.
Yeah, I mean,
or we approach it a little differently. Yeah.
Yeah.
the thing I always find funny, you watch some of these shows and they're interviewing, maybe it's a tour guide or a docent of the historic place or whatever it is, or even the homeowner, and the story took place during the day at like 2 p.m, but they don't start investigating until 2 a.m, and it's like you're not even putting yourself in the same situation. So paranormal activity happens all times of the day. So that's good that you're doing some daytime stuff.
Exactly. And like we were talking about too, and just being a witch, like this isn't something that I clock in and out of. Living with spirits and communicating them happens 24/7. And I love your question too about going back to locations. It's like, yes. And Rob's answer was perfect. They are the same kind of being to us with or without their shell. They're our friends. And that's what we go in and we develop friendships with them and interact with them in many ways. And just like you run into many different kinds of people, you'll also run into many different kinds of spirits.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's why nothing is ever like the same day in and day out. We have many, many friendships. And yeah, guys, it's been what an adventure. I wouldn't trade it for the world. And this is what we live and do. It's great to share it with everybody as well on camera, but this is what we would be doing even if not, Yeah,
I'm happy to hear that, to hear you say that you're actually trying to build friendships with these spirits. I think that's something that a lot of people don't do, like Vanessa, was saying earlier, about going in, making demands, doing all these different things. Rob was talking about that as well. And I think that happens too often, whether it's for television or for YouTube or whatever. You see a lot of paranormal investigators going in there saying, hit me or, hit the door or whatever, all this crazy stuff. And it's like, well, would you say that to somebody if you were meeting them for the first time? No.
Hell no.
Oh, I mean, it's almost, they make it sound like a sort of an S&M dating website. You go in and hit me and do this and do that, and then out you go. No, right. Let's get deeper than that. That's much serious, and there's so much more to offer, and we can offer spiritually, and so yeah. I mean, the bigger questions help a lot to identify ways that you might be able to tell their story for them.
I was talking to my co-producer about this the other day, and I think we've come up with why the shows are that way, not for the money necessarily, or why people think that's what is necessary. And when you're talking about what you've documented, I hate calling it evidence because I'm not proving shit to no one. I don't give a fuck. Okay. But when it comes to that, I think real, true documentation of unedited actual spirit activity is too frightening for people. It's too frightening for people. I think the actual knowledge that there is something that goes on after the meat sack is gone, after the physical form is no more. It's too much to take. And I think that is honestly why they migrate to the fantastical and the ridiculous. And I would love to know your viewpoints on that. I truly believe that's what it is, because you could put the most amazing piece of documentation in front of somebody, and then you can put one that there is none, but the people that are involved in it are reactionary, which instill fear. And guess which one people are going to migrate to?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's sort of like a fine line, really. I think it's one thing if you're a paranormal group and you're doing that. You know, there are different rules that apply in terms of, you know, if you're filming your investigations as an ongoing show, as we are, and your as long as your motives are genuine, you know, and legitimate. But you also, it's not just the story that you're telling, it's the way that you're telling it as well. So you've got this, obviously you have to tell it, craft that, and this is where the editing process is. It's very, very lengthy editing process comes in. Tell it in not just a chronologically accurate way, but also a factually accurate way, you know, as things happen. Mm-hmm. The guys will, you know, they'll tell you I'm sometimes pain in the ass, but you know, I shoot stuff down, you know, and you know, I mean, everyone has their opinion. I'll be like, honestly, that could have been something, but
yeah, you're very critical.
Yeah,
but that's okay. That's what we like.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We
honestly,
love that.
I think, and otherwise, well, you're not really an investigator, are you? You're sort of like a clerk, you know, making, you know, and I think we're sort of like moving on from that whole Taps-esque thing on where people sat for 19 years behind the 10 monitors, you know, into let's video, let's show our reactions, let's show the ghost reactions, let's see if we can palpably make the viewer feel the tension that we're feeling. It's not an easy process, you know, if you're not there. So we're trying to make this a lot more immersive. For season 10, you're going to see paranormal reimagined, I should say, from the ground up. Yeah, it's very good.
Sounds very good. Sounds interesting. So
our first
check out season 10.
yeah, Winchester House is our first episode for
really?
Season 10.
Wow.
Yes.
All right. That's awesome.
They are fabulous, by the way. Shout out to them. Right, Meg? Dan?
So beautiful. I adore every single person in Winchester House, spirit as well as the living. They were just phenomenal. So much love.
I only wish that we had more time.
Yeah.
Because we could only go when they shut down. So we could only go, and in the evening we could get some daytime shots as long as we weren't affecting the tours and things like that were going on. But we kind of had to stay inconspicuously in this one room and wander about and get what we could get without interacting with the guests that were going through. And then when they shut down the tours, that was our time, and we had free reign of the location. But because we were filming, you know, it was hard because you can't explore, you can't go to every room, you can't. I feel like I want to go back. Like there's more to that place than meets the eye.
Yeah, there's a ton to explore there, but I'm kind of surprised. Maybe I'm mistaken. I thought they weren't really doing paranormal investigations there so much anymore.
Well, when you have a producer that's got some clout, he can get you in. So, you know, it wasn't me, Rob, or Megan. It was Nick that got us in there. So,
okay.
You know, so it is what it, you know,
Very
take
cool.
advantage of every situation that we can,
Awesome.
you know.
Awesome.
They kept reiterating too that they appreciated our approach, and the reason they were happy to have us there too is because we were so respectful, and they repeated that time and time again, and you could tell they had so much love for that place and the spirits there.
Yeah.
And like I said, Nick's intent is just so good.
I think honestly the place is so fascinating because really it's like a physical embodiment of this woman's mind, that will live on forever. It's really, the twisting corridors and the stairways that go into a wall, and windows in the middle of nowhere, and a door that opens out, into you fall out of the house. It speaks to me. It's almost like if Salvador Dali had been a builder, this is what he would have made.
Yeah.
So it very much embodies the conflicts and all of the craziness that was going on in her eccentric mind. It couldn't have been easy to just suddenly be the heiress of the Winchester Repeating Rifle Company. So get out there and see it.
Yeah, it's definitely a bucket list item. I have not yet been out there, but definitely will get out there. I have a couple of questions here from the chat. So first, I'll take this one from Hinsdale Girl. I wonder who that is.
Michelle, I bet.
Yeah.
Timmons, yeah.
Have you considered a documentary about these friendships with spirits?
Ooh.
Food
I
for
would
thought?
be all for it.
I don't think we have considered that at this point, but that's a really good idea, Michelle.
It would be. There's many that I now look at like family, especially from Selma Mansion. We've been back there many a times. Hinsdale House is like a whole other level. Yeah, that's a wonderful question. Me personally, if I was looking into different experiences from people I looked up to and wanted to learn from, that would be a piece of information that would be very valuable. Wonderful question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wonderful idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Then from Chris's Paranormal Explorations, what's the most active place you've investigated?
I mean,
besides Hinsdale House?
Yeah. Besides, I don't ever like to, toot my own horn with that location, but probably Belle Grove with the Ghost Finders. I mean, it was just unlike anything that's ever happened to me while investigating with a group. Every single piece of equipment. I mean, is that episode's out now, right? Belle Grove's out right now, right?
Yeah.
So I would tell everybody to go check out the episode, but every single piece of equipment in the room started going off at once, like simultaneously, that we had set up. Like, it was just crazy. Like, you could just feel the energy in the room. And that was the presidential suite, right? That we were in.
Yeah.
At the Belle Grove plantation. And amazing location, amazing hospitality. And I would, if anybody wants to go check out a location, that place is amazing. Right on the waterfront, it's very cool.
Yeah, even if you're not into paranormal, I mean, the
history.
Bring the family. Obviously, once this whole thing's over, and because dad can ghost hunt, or the kids can ghost hunt, or while mom and dad have a reenactment afternoon tea. I mean, they do it all. I mean, right on the money. Right on point. And so Michelle and Brett are just a classic, just absolute diamond people. Is
that up on Prime? It's up on Amazon Prime, right?
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime, Apple TV, and VidiSpace.
Yes. And Spirit Channel.
Yeah, and the Spirit Channel on Roku. Yeah, so it's good. Two-parter. The second part of which is coming out in about a week. Okay. So
on Amazon again?
Yeah, on all those.
Good luck, honey. Good luck.
I know
they've had our third episode for 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I pray for you. Yeah.
I know it's been happening to a lot of people.
It
lately.
really has. It's very unfortunate because, once the closed captioning is done, it's ready to go.
Yeah, and you've got to also remember that their volume, their bandwidth, their capacity is being pushed to the limits. So that probably, I would imagine, plays an integral factor.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's straight across the board.
And my friend Ryan Weffelmeyer, he came and filmed for 5 days and did this documentary on the Hinsdale house, and he's been saying it's going to be coming up for like the past 4 or 5 weeks, and they haven't put it up yet. So now he's had to go to alternative measures to allow people to be able to see it, so
tell him to be careful. Technically, we're with our contract with Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot show it on any other on any other platform. We're contracted with Amazon.
Yeah, I don't know. He's doing some pay for something, pay to view it type thing. So
yeah,
that's the only way. So
yeah, I think that's another thing that I forgot to mention, if I may, that I love about what Nick's doing. Nick and Elizabeth Saint and Justin are pioneers in this fantastic indie paranormal, well, not just paranormal, but specifically in our case, paranormal forum with, forget the networks. The networks aren't the be all and end all of the paranormal story. That's a part of it, and sure, but there are so many fantastic shows that don't need $500,000 an episode budgets. I mean, it's really about content. Obviously, production quality is very important too, but it's no one wants to watch a fantastic, polished, shiny show that has no scares and no interest, no story, no history. So I encourage everybody to go to VidiSpace and check out the full range, of great shows on there. I mean, I got to give them a plug. It's a fantastic platform.
Yeah, they're taking the independent filming industry under their wing and giving a platform to producers that otherwise wouldn't be able to have their stuff seen. So it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been doing that for a few years now, right?
Yeah, 3 years. This is their third year. And I was able to participate in their film festival a few months ago. And man, it was just awesome to be able to sit there and watch some of these indie flicks. And they're not all paranormal. Some of them were. Some of them are cryptid. Some of them are just, people showing their talents, animations and different things like that. But I mean, there's some quality level things that I would say could be on TV that aren't getting picked up, that, are getting shown there. And it's fun. It's especially when we're all quarantined. It's to have all those extra things to watch. It's there. So, and it's like cheap.
I've been quarantined since last Thursday because I was exposed.
Oh, were you?
Yes. So
you keep it over there.
My family was on the last cruise that left the port of, and we were on a cruise. And while this was all happening, we came back to 6 people or 12 people on our flight flying back from New York, and 6 of them was my family. And then the next day, it's like everything got shut down. It was crazy.
Yeah, we just found out today my son's school's out for the year. He's a senior now.
That's I feel bad for the seniors. I really do. Like,
yes.
Like my couple of my nieces, and this is their senior year, and they're not going to get to see their friends again. Their graduation ceremonies probably.
Yeah.
I mean, like that stinks. And those are the things that you remember when you were 18, you're 17, 18 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
Those final memories of high school.
It's my son's senior year, and so he's having a tough time with it because this is the time where you make those memories, and it's not going to happen.
That hurts my heart.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
This is a perfect time just to take 60 seconds here and plug from all of us. I'm sure I'm going to speak for every one of us. Thank you to the truck drivers getting food to us, to the doctors and nurses that are risking their lives, because I'm in dentistry and I know exactly how low their supplies are. Okay. Yep. You're not supposed to use Germ-X on rubber gloves, and guess what? They're having to do it. To the people that are having to stay in essential jobs for everybody else to be able to live. My hat's off to you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So on a happier note.
Yes.
So I did go to your website, of course, check things out there, see what you had going on, and I noticed that you had a huge list of equipment that you use. And considering everything you were talking about before with connecting with spirit and all that, how do you balance all the equipment that you use with with this communicating with spirit and trying to become those friends? Because it's kind of, to me, it's always difficult. Okay, I'm trying to talk to them, but pick something up on a gadget. How do I keep it human?
I think it's more like a strategy, isn't it? I mean, we don't use all the equipment all the time. And a lot of the times it might be something that's new that maybe had worked for me when I'm doing a private that I wanted to kind of bring to the table and see if it helps to with that gap or that bridge with the mediumship to the equipment that we're actually using. So if you watch the show, we might bring in like 1 or 2 pieces of equipment per scene. It's not like we're bombarding the whole scene with all this different types of paranormal equipment. But we like to try new things, like to try state-of-the-art new types of equipment. When we get sponsors, we definitely try to push their equipment that they produce on the show, because they're providing that equipment to us. So we're going to give it a nice go on the show and try to see what we can get from it and push it to its limits and try to show everybody what it's made of. So it's
definitely what Dan said. We have so much equipment amassed over like you can imagine 9 years that it would look just sort of really sort of a little bit ostentatious to sort of have their rows of tables with stuff hanging out. We got nothing to prove, in that regard. We're just about less is more. I'd rather have 2 pieces of equipment or 3 pieces of equipment with us that we haven't maybe used for a while. Or locations are like spirit; they're not cookie cutter.
Right.
It's that. So you assess, you review the situation, and you see, yeah, sure, we bring it all pretty much with us. But it's sort of like Megan and Dan and I will sit and sort of really discuss, based on the alleged activity, what we feel we need to be able to break through to the other side. Very fortunate the last 2 years, this year as well, ghosthuntersequipment.com are our official equipment providers. And I mean, they're fantastic. They're out of Florida, and everything you can possibly imagine, and a lot that I didn't even know existed. So, so check them out, ghosthuntersequipment.com. And that's nice. That's a nice, we're very fortunate to be in the position to be able to field test a lot of this new equipment that's coming out there. Some of it we love, some of it it's that's how you test it. And
right.
Yeah, at least
and then you
have
your old faithfuls,
Right.
Yeah, definitely. And like Dan was saying, we will come in and kind of feel out what's there. So we know if we're kind of picking up younger spirits, or if it's maybe possibly a child. We're like, okay, let's choose this piece of equipment that might be a little less intimidating, something that we can kind of connect with. So it's, we assess the situation and use that equipment for each interaction. And we do usually start it with different ritual work. So we introduce ourselves and we do formal, sometimes like an hour-long ritual of giving gifts, giving thanks, and earth magic, different traditions, and also incorporating tech with that and getting some really cool results. But Rob will see them, feel them, talk with them. We'll all introduce ourselves, and then we'll pick our equipment accordingly. That's how it goes. Yeah.
Now, how do you feel about, and I haven't seen the episode, so I'm not saying you're doing this. I'm actually curious. How do you feel about filming rituals? Because that tends to be taboo. So I don't film my rituals.
Good question. And Rob will tell you, if you notice, when I started out in season 7, it was a long, long road, because that is very intimate. It is very personal, and it is sacred. Mm-hmm. And it took a while too. Like, I instantly loved working with them since day one. But you'll see over time, those workings with spirit relationships and stuff. It's completely different, and not a complete ritual is ever shown.
Okay.
Sometimes my rituals will be like, ooh, like Dan, Hinsdale House, I had 2 full rituals. I was gone the whole day. I barely was inside that house. And I was not cold at all. I was full focus all through those woods. And that is a very intimate, personal thing. So no, we haven't filmed a complete ritual yet. And there's also stipulations we do with that. So yeah, I'm glad you asked that.
I'm weird about that, because like I see people on Facebook and they're lighting their candles and doing their magic, and I'm like, dude, it doesn't work that way.
Right. And we say that too. And we are at this place where people are hungry to learn. And we say too, you need to take that work. You need to do that path. And like we said before, there is not just one way to do things. And that's in our belief. Mm-hmm. And that's why not every ritual is the same. Like Rob said before, it is not cookie cutter. It is to these people, these friendships that we are giving. So, but we've had so many people come and tell us, thank you for sharing this. I've had people from across the world say, you used your magical breath on this item. I have been doing that my whole life, but I never knew if it was right. And
if it's for you, it's right.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's what I tell them. I'm like,
right.
We're just communicating our similarities, our differences, and saying like, it is this time and age that we do need to stand together and communicate more than ever. Our differences and our individuality needs to be celebrated, and having the courage to baby step those things and showcase them as well as sacredly. It's been a long, long road, and I'm very proud of everything that we have shown, and the response back from our fans has been nothing but supportive, and I'm very thankful for it. And I love you for also caring and being protective. It's our baby. It's our life. It's our way of life, and we don't want it to be marketed or put in a bad way. And I'm very comfortable with who I am.
Do you mean kind of like how somebody might go into the basement of a house with absolutely no knowledge of what this can do and try to conjure something? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Girl.
One of the things that really stood out for me, like when I first even witnessed Megan doing a ritual, I was so infatuated by it, but it brings a positive light to what she's doing, whether it's just a clip or a small segment of what she's actually doing. And nobody is really out there showing that. And to be able to show a positive light on witchcraft and a paranormal show it's just different. And it really makes you think outside the box when you're doing an investigation, or maybe it'll make somebody else think, and I think that's the whole purpose of it.
Yes, I think today that witchcraft is still misunderstood. So if you're trying to bring a better light to it, then that's great.
I live in Oklahoma. Believe me, it's misunderstood.
Yeah.
Well, you're up against Hollywood, and all those stereotypes.
Well, yeah, it seems to be more accepted these days than it was, 300 years ago when they were, hanging people. But, now it's so overblown where, you're conjuring all these demons and spirits and crazy stuff that, you got, I guess, the smoke coming out all over the place, at least in Hollywood is what I'm talking about. So, there's got to be a happy medium somewhere in there. That's
one of the reasons why I've had thousands of people send me messages asking me to write a spell book. No fucking way am I going to write a spell book. First off, I know what my skill set is, and I can't guarantee that the next person that gets that is going to have the same skill set. I know what my intentions are. I can't guarantee their intentions are the same. I can't guarantee any of that. I will tell you all I know about witchcraft without telling you how to do it.
Right. I say it's a family recipe book.
Yes.
You have one way to make cookies, but if your family likes extra cinnamon in their cookies and they bake it with love, you can't replicate that same intention, that same magic across the board. and sharing that. Like, there are ways to share that, but we encourage people, hey, put extra chocolate chips in it. If you love sugar cookies, make sugar cookies. That's what it's about. And we embrace, I would love to keep traveling across the world, showcasing so many different beliefs and cultures, and working together and communicating spirits too. So I'm so proud to bring that understanding to witchcraft. I would love to bring that to more of the overlooked traditions around the world and dealing with the dead. And there's no right way. And then sometimes, like we said before, it depends on what that spirit's comfortable with. So it's cool to like bring little bits. And we have done that. Like, we've had Catholic prayers in some of our episodes. We've had a bunch of different things, native blessings. I love it so much. And I feel like that force from the others, as well as people hungry for it. We want that togetherness deep down inside. Like, love needs to win. Mm-hmm. Let's keep giving that message to everyone.
Yes.
Love wins.
Yeah.
There you go. I like it. Love wins. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
A couple final questions here from the chat before we wrap it up, because we've got about 5 minutes left in the show. From Haunted Road Media's Fairy Queen, Diane Hilbert. Do you guys have any plans to investigate the Conjuring House in Rhode Island?
Ooh.
I've had an invite there. We don't have any set plans at this point to investigate there, but it could be something that could be on our tablet for the future, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Very cool. I'm hoping to still get out there this summer, depending on how the world goes. But I'm supposed to go out there.
I was still planning on it too, but I don't think it's going to happen.
And then from Kevin Schmitz, did Megan dress that tree up on the hill behind Hinsdale?
No, that was actually Amy. Good night, baby. Amy Perry Lane, who was in the Virgin House episode. She actually took Megan's spot because Megan couldn't make that shoot. A good friend of mine, and she actually runs tours, para expeditions. She started that up there, kind of like a giving tree, where people can give offerings to the native spirits to kind of help our worlds collide when they're investigating. So when you come to the Hinsdale house, if you want to bring like a small offering, I do have like tobacco and things in the house that you can use if you'd like to. But people have brought shells, toys, feathers. It's kind of like a spectacle when you go up on the hill now. And it brings a kind of calming peace when you go up there.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We did the same thing when we went to Cave of the Cats.
Yeah.
In Ireland. We took our offering, and that was the very first thing that we did. That's a really beautiful sentiment. And thank you on behalf of all who have passed for doing that. That's huge.
Yeah, we had that interesting time last fall there at Hinsdale in the woods with all the little blue lights and everything, and offered an apple, and apparently they ate part of it, is what it looks like. So it's pretty interesting. So we have just a couple minutes left here. I know you kind of ran through how everybody can watch the show, but again, how can people find the Ghost Finders and watch your show?
So you can check us out on social media. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook. Just type in The Ghost Finders. And we are streaming on Vidispace. I think 8 episodes up right now. 9 will be coming up in about a week. Amazon.com.
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. Okay. And Apple TV, Android TV. That's pretty much it. And of course, for back episodes for previous seasons of the way back, we have some on YouTube as well too. So, but yeah, definitely check us out on Amazon and on Roku's The Spirit Channel, Vidispace, if you get a chance.
Cool. I noticed you had some stuff up on your Facebook page too. Are those just clips, or what's going on there?
Yeah, we're actually starting to put up full episodes. There won't be seasons of episodes, but select episodes that we've made truncated versions of that we're putting up, from previous seasons as well. And they will continue to go up over the course of the year. I think we're going to probably, put a lot more material up there now, just on even YouTube, but also on our social media, in view of the situation, depending on how long this goes on for, give people a little extra opportunity that don't have Amazon Prime or any of the other formats.
Yeah, give people a little taste that might be interested in checking you out.
Yeah, you're gonna see over the coming weeks, you're gonna see a couple of interesting teasers for season 10. So
okay, very cool. Well, I want to thank you guys very much, Rob, Megan, and Dan. Really had a great time hanging out with you guys tonight and